It's on, I think. I think it's on.
It's all hot.
Yeah, that's weird. That's interesting. I got you in here, Henry, or I got you for some
Yeah,
reason.
mine was doing the same thing, and yeah, I don't know what's. I finally was able to log in through an old email.
Oh, okay.
But,
Can't get in. Have to.
yeah, mine was asking for a verification code and stuff, and I was like, I just went for 3 weeks ago and hit it, mail and everything popped up.
Guess we'll have to see what it's like without having the information. See if I can remember everything I read today. Well, maybe later. Thanks, buddy. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Village of Gold River's regular council meeting. Just want to start off our meeting by acknowledging that we're on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territories of Mount First Nation. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. or close to it. Introduction of late items. Mr. Roy, do you have any late items, sir?
No, your worship.
Thank you, sir. Councilors, do anyone wish to introduce a late item? No, moving on. Approval of the agenda, that the agenda be adopted as presented. Who'd care to move it? Councillor Fawcett, second by Councillor Pringle. I'd just like to propose an amendment if, to tonight's agenda. If council is willing, I'd just like to switch delegations to go ahead of unfinished business and unfinished business to go where delegations are. So 7 before 6, just as courtesy to our delegates who are presenting tonight and the fact that we have a couple of items on our unfinished business that potentially could go on for a while. And I'd rather not these people having to sit here waiting for us to finish that business before they do the presentations. Is council open to that? Everyone open to it? Great, thank you. So I'll just go back and say that, can we adopt the, because I don't think we did anything with it. So adoption of the agenda as amended. Who'd care to move it? Councillor Waymire, second by Councillor Fawcett. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Adoption of the minutes, that the regular meeting minutes from June 15, 2026 be adopted as presented. Who'd care to move it? Councillor Waymire, second Councillor Fawcett. Any discussion? I just think there's some value in having 3 weeks between council meetings, don't you guys? I really enjoyed having that 21 days. So maybe we could have a discussion with the administrator and about maybe making all of our meetings once a month. No, nobody's going for it. Okay, well, that's for another day. Okay, so call for the question. All in favor? It's done. Public and statutory hearings, see none. Moving on to our amended item presentations. Cheryl Wright is, do we have our online presentation ready? There you, oh, you are our online presentation. My apologies. Is it Dr. Enns? Well, welcome. My apologies for not recognizing you. Welcome to Gold River. So am I.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful, Mayor and Council and staff, for the opportunity to do a delegation on the health of the population.
I read your presentation. It was amazing, really enlightening. I think that council and the community are going to be really impressed by it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. That's
Hopefully you can live up to that.
hope so. And I'm not so sure I can read it from here, but I might have to look at my papers just so I can move me along. And yeah, really grateful to be here. So I also want to recognize that we're meeting today on the homelands and the home of the Mo-o-chap Mutulet people, and I have a lot of gratitude for being able to be here today. I actually used to live in Esperanza, so it's good. It's always good to be back in the region. So is it all right if I just say next slide?
Yeah.
Okay, next slide, please. And again. Great. So I know you're all probably aware of this, but as a medical health officers, we're not always well understood. So I thought might be just a quick refresher. So I'm a medical physician. I'm a specialist physician, but unique in that the Crown has seen fit to give us statutory authority to be able to protect the health of the population. So why am I bringing that up is because we share that. And in that, just to say that under the Public Health Act, I have a job to come to you to report on the health of the population and to advise in an independent manner. I'm completely apolitical. Next slide, please. And then you, as you know well, under both the Public Health Act and the Community Charter, have a responsibility to address health hazards and to promote the health of your population, which we are the same populations. So we are tied together in those responsibilities. And this is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of my job is working with local governments. So it's a real honor for me to be here with you because you are the ones who actually are the public health providers. Because every decision you make is about the public's health. Every decision affects their health and wellness, regardless of the topic. I just get to work around on the edges, but you get to do it every day in a really big and powerful way. So I want to thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. So I always like to start with the demographics. So what's the population? So we're not a region that's growing in terms of population. And it's expected to decrease right now. Within the local health area, the population is just over 2,100, and it's expected to decrease down to just under 1,900 within the next 20 years. So that, of course, can be changed. That can be reversed, but that's the trend and where it's going right now. The median age in the region. So I'm talking right now about the whole local health area. The median age is 52 years. 8% of your population has immigrated from another country. The highest percent of your population is the population age 65 and older, and that's 45% of the population. But I wanted to highlight that 19% are under 19. So you do have a young population, and that's one of the things I want to emphasize today. 28% of the population identify as Indigenous, and the population is expected to decrease, like I said, by about 13% over the next number of years. Next slide. So we talk about life expectancy because that says something, especially when it's compared to other regions. So the life expectancy within the region is just over 80 years. This is you're like, look, you can see the life expectancy from 2016 to now has increased considerably. So you are on the increase, but it is less than the island health average of 82 years. What's more important for me for understanding our opportunities is something called potential years of life lost, is where we look at, where we measure the years of life lost because you died young, i.e. before the age of 75. And then we add that all up and it provides like a burden of years lost due to early death. When we look at potential years of life lost within this region, the leading cause of potential years of life lost is chronic liver disease. And that's not over 9 times higher than the rest of BC, compared to the rest of BC. Deaths due to accidental injuries, which is really drug poisonings, which is, again, for both liver disease and accidental injuries, we're really talking about alcohol. So that's considerably higher. And why do we want to talk about potential years of life lost? Because again, that's our opportunities for intervention. These do not have to be the story. These are things that we can actually intervene on. And interestingly, you have a lower potential years of life lost due to cancer, but that might also be due to a little bit less life expectancy. So next slide. Alcohol consumption. Sorry to have to tell you this story, but when we look at the number of standard drinks per week consumed on Vancouver Island West, you can see it's over 13 standard drinks per week for everyone in the population aged 15 and over. So this is an average for those 15 and over. So it captures a population that's not even legal to consume. That's compared to the Island Health, which is about 11, and for BC, which is about 8.5. Now, there's nobody on this chart is a good news story. We have new alcohol consumption guidelines in Canada that look at the likelihood of individual harms from consumption, and that's the chart on the left-hand side. And so any consumption of more than 7 standard drinks a week increases the likelihood of high-risk harm. So that's chronic disease, but most importantly, cancer. So we know that alcohol is a carcinogen, and 1 in 20 cancer deaths in Canada is directly attributable to alcohol consumption. So, so we have twice the average weekly consumption in the high-risk category. So and again, another opportunity for intervention, especially as we think about our youth. Next slide. Hospital admissions, just to show what it means to be compared to hospital admissions within the region for residents within Vancouver Island West compared to the rest of Vancouver Island. That's the purple is Vancouver Island West. And you can see it was very high during the pandemic. This was true for many regions. There was a lot of increased substance use and especially alcohol. And we made, as a society, a lot of decisions that made it easier to access and consume during the pandemic. And that shows up in our health outcomes. And just to say that of course, the harms from alcohol are not just to the individual, but we have a much broader societal impact than we do with most of the other substances. And then that's compared to opioids, the unregulated drug supply. And you can see that those numbers are much smaller, both within the region and within the island health, within Vancouver Island. Next slide. Food security, very important, especially since, of course, we recognize how hard it is to have good access, easy access to fresh produce and other grocery products. This is a result of a survey of School District 84 students, and they were asked questions regarding their food security. And I think it should get our attention when 30% of kids say that they felt hungry because there wasn't enough to eat. And these are children, these are youth within School District 84. And that 39%, almost 40%, 4 out of 10 kids went to bed hungry. So these are really significant basic social determinants of health. That rate of hunger was higher in youth than it is in adults, with 1 in 5 saying they were concerned about food security. Next slide. So we look at the socioeconomic factors. You probably know this far better than I do. But when we look at the amount of people who rent versus those who own, both of those categories are less compared to the rest of the island. But I mean, unaffordable housing, when people spend more than 30% of their income. So I got that backwards. Actually, the stats are better here. So more people or less people are burdened with unaffordable housing compared to the rest of the island. However, the median income is significantly less here, almost $20,000 annually compared to the rest of the island. About just over a third of the population have post-secondary training or certificate or diploma, and 23%, almost a quarter, are considered low income. Again, very important demographics to understand for local government with the important decisions that you need to make as it relates to your tax base. Next question. Slide. Income and family security. Children and youth who live in households with lower income report poor mental health. So the correlation between poverty and children and childhood is a really important one, because it sets a trajectory often for the rest of their life, because it's not just about poverty, but it's about all those things that go with being poor. Like we talked about food security, but it also means increased stress and anxiety. So there's higher mental health challenges. There's also less opportunity for educational opportunities, sports, connection, travel, a sense of belonging oftentimes. So I'm going to show you just in a second a slide that when we can invest in kids and have that really positive early childhood, we actually make a difference for the rest of their life in terms of chronic disease and other really important outcomes in terms of educational attainment, job security, et cetera. It all starts in those first 5 years. And within the region, 18% of children are living in one-parent households. And you can see why that's so significant when the income within a one-parent family is significantly less than kids that are being brought up in a two-parent household. Next slide. So the early childhood development, Vancouver Island West is, we work a lot with the superintendent on this and the school district. This is where it's like a census of vulnerability for children starting school, and it looks at 5 different domains of readiness to start school. And if a child is deemed vulnerable, that doesn't mean they're in trouble. It just means they need support to be able to be successful in getting through school. And the more vulnerabilities, of course, the more support kids need. But what's interesting for me for this slide is that most of the province now for a long time has stayed pretty consistent at about 1/3 of kids having 1 or more vulnerabilities when they start school. That's really consistent almost everywhere. We have a couple outliers, and Vancouver Island West is one of them, where over half of kids are starting into school with 1 or more identified vulnerabilities where they need extra supports to be able to succeed. Again, that's something that we can mitigate and have an intervention on. Next slide. So this is what happens. I really don't, I want to be asset-based. I want to be positive. I want to look at the things that actually change the trajectory in early childhood. So regardless of how like the first 5 years are so significantly important, and it sets up what it means to be an adult and a senior. But the interventions that we can do along the way that are protective factors for kids, and having an adult who cares about you in your life is one of the most protective factors. And that doesn't have to be a family member. That can be any adult in the community. But we know that children or youth who identify one adult in the community that cares about them and then they can talk to is a very strong, positive factor in their life that in spite of all the other stuff, helps to compensate. So that sense of somebody cares about me, somebody listens to me, I have a sense of belonging, I live in a positive environment, people want me to be happy, I have opportunities to be happy, I can play, and I can be safe. So those are all really important in those early childhood years. And then as the more we can help kids meet their educational goals, they can be well fed so they can learn, they have a safe, affordable place to live, and they can play and recreate and connect with other kids. That changes a lot of things during the early years. And you can see that as we lose those protective factors, there are tangible outcomes in somebody's life, both in mental health and physical health and other outcomes. Next slide. This is a good news story. This is hard work from within the community and the school district itself in helping have high school completion rates. So that means that once you're enrolled in grade 8, that within 6 years you're going to complete. And you can see how the rate has gone up significantly from 2018, from before, just like 2016, 2017, and they're almost up to 80%. So this is a good news story, and it's definitely on the right trajectory. Next slide. So I do have the permission of the school district superintendent to give this information as well. Just to show the prevalence of mood and anxiety disorders is the leading health diagnosis in youth. And it's quite high in females and is staying high. And it's interesting that for the yellow is for Gold River. So but for males, we can see everything got worse in the pandemic, and for the females, it's still not coming down. But for the males, it's starting to decrease, and it's actually below the Island Health and BC rates now within the region for males. Next slide. Youth resiliency, we've already kind of talked about this, but this is very specific to this school district, that 56% of kids felt lonely often or always, but 83% had at least one close friend. So it was really important. They, in terms of extracurricular activities, they are being active, but those activity rates, I think there's opportunity there for more opportunity to recreate and have activity. And you can see for relationships, what does it say? 82% of kids had at least one adult in their neighborhood or community they felt cared about them. Next slide. Again, this is for youth because again, I want to talk about what it means to set people up to succeed in life. So this is for students in grade 8 to 12. over half of them say they have consumed alcohol. More than a third have said they have smoked. Most of the kids who are using substances are initiating between the ages of 12 and 14. Cannabis has been, 2/3 have said they've tried cannabis. And the one that I hope I can really get your attention on is vaping, because 71% said they have tried vaping. This isn't just 71% have tried vaping. Of those youth who report they've been vaping within the region, which is actually the health service delivery area in North Island, over 75% of the youth vaping have to vape first thing in the morning. So that means they're not vaping for social connection. That means they're vaping because there's an addiction. So this is a very important issue because it is rewiring kids' brains, neural pathways. It's increasing anxiety, and it's setting up some it's not helping them succeed. It's actually setting them up for failure. So all of these substances, it's just one substance alone is bad enough, but then you add them all together and we have even more of a challenge. Next slide. So I do want to say that I think the region has very resilient youth, and that any initiatives to support healthy and happy children and youth, especially in those first 5 years, has a very high return on investment, not only for us in the immediate, but for the long term. Decreasing and lower life expectancy is driven by preventable factors within the region, and this can be reversed. And again, psychoactive substances related harms are very high, especially related to alcohol. And there is opportunities. I'd be happy to come back at some time to talk with Mayor and Council and staff on what local governments can specifically, what tools there are as it relates to alcohol. We're doing a lot of work on the West Coast in Tofino, Ucluelet, at Port Alberni on this very topic with local governments. And there's some, but it takes a little bit longer conversation that's more specific. But if you'd like me to come back, I'm very happy to do that. And I think that's it. Yes.
Thank you for coming all the way out to Gold River to do your presentation for the council and the community. I found that really enlightening. Those numbers and those stats and the presentation just so informative. Would you be open to fielding a few questions from council? If council has any questions for you, Dr. Enns?
Absolutely. I was ready for questions halfway through when I said
We've been practicing our decorum. How do you notice? We don't interrupt speakers as much as we used to. Councilors, does anyone have any questions for Dr. Enns? Councilor Fossen.
Thank you through the chair. And I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation this evening. And I think one of the questions, or one of the shocking things that came up to me, was the fact that we have a higher increase within our youth that are consuming, should I say, should be unaccessible addictive substances than what I guess I'm assuming the rest of the island. And what goes through my mind is I ask myself as a counselor, but as a dad, I know that the only way that they would be able to get that if it was my child would be from me or from adults that are able to get it for them and give it to them. So I'm just wondering if you have any outlying information as to how our youth are, one, obtaining alcohol, cannabis, smokes, and vapes when they're all underage, when that's illegal. It's against the law in our country for youth to have that.
Yeah, I don't have it specific for the area. I mean, I've raised kids, but they're in their 30s now. But it's everywhere. It's not hard, and especially now with, for example, with vaping, they just order it online, so you can get it on the internet. We didn't even talk about gambling today, but that's another problem for youth that's increasing. But that's why I think so that is such an excellent question that the community needs to engage in a dialogue on. Like, I think the opportunity to talk about that and to say, okay, what is it? How is it? What are we doing about supporting our kids? How are they getting it? How can we make a difference? What alternatives can we give them? Right? So I think that you have the key to the local knowledge through all the people that are here to have that have that great conversation and curiosity.
Anyone else? You're just like a thumbnail on my screen there.
Can you
I
see
am.
me?
Counselor Pickard. Oh, there you are. Now I see you. Counselor Pickard.
Yeah, I didn't know if you could see me, but anyway,
No, I
thank
can't.
you guys. Nice to see you all. And thank you so much, Dr. Charmaine Enns. Sorry I can't be there in person, and I'm just in Campbell River with some family medical stuff. So it ties in well with your presentation. But I really appreciated it and went over the stats and the graphs and all the information you shared so many times today. And a lot of it was really moving and really just shed a lot of light in some stats I didn't know or didn't really have full understanding of. Even, we're at our 4th year here, and I feel like I learned so much today from your presentation and what you provided for agenda. So thanks so much for bringing it all together. And I feel like you really gave such a kind of holistic view of a lot of things we as council try to like tie in together, the youth and what's best for them, and our seniors and what's best for them, and mental health and just stuff as a society that we can do. So thanks for putting this all together. And I was thinking kind of along the same lines of Councillor Fawcett and what he said about youth. And we focus a lot on our seniors because, as we saw on one of your slides, we have such a huge percent of our population that is over 65, and we want to make them able to live and age in place and thrive and stay in our community as long as we can. But it was really a good perspective for you to show just how important those early years are to kind of create a solid foundation and create resilient and healthy kids that turn into adults and seniors. So, I'm also a mom of a few young kids coming into that 12 to 14 age range. And like Councillor Fawcett mentioned, access and how kids would access kind of all those. Vaping's kind of new for us. I don't even know what it is. So like, do you have any, I know what it is, but never really accessed it or done it, but do you have any other kind of recommendations that we as council or as kind of municipal government can do? And as, I don't know how much time you spent in Gold River, but we don't have the Old Literacy Center, Gold River Services now doing some youth nights, but we don't have too many youth kind of programs going on. And just what you think we could do to mitigate and kind of bring those stats down and bring kind of more healthy choices and kind of more, just less high numbers in that 12 to 14 stats range.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the question, and I do have a suggestion because I work quite closely with the school district, and John Howard Society is now in the community as well, and I know that John Howard and this school district would be very keen to meet with you and to have a conversation, and with the First Nations, so the First Nation elected chiefs and council, or the appropriate health rep from the nations, because there is a real concern, especially for the teens and especially for the females. And there's some opportunities that would really, I think is going to take an all of community approach. In a small community, you have that advantage. And people know each other and they care about each other. And so your impact is great when it all comes together. But so yeah, my suggestion is to bring all those important leaders and parties together, specifically about kids, and then let the kids have a voice. And I think you will be amazed at what comes out of it.
Any follow-up there, Counselor Pickard, or are you good?
I was gonna give you an example. Comox did this. They actually asked the youth, what do you need? What do you want? And they did these focus groups. They hired a consultant. Anyways, the long and short of it is, they actually responded to what the youth asked for both. The kids called themselves low impact, I don't want to do exercise, medium, and high intense. And they had 3 interventions in the community based on those 3 groups of youth. Kids loved it, and it was very, very positive.
Yeah, thank you through the chair, and thanks for your presentation and response. And I think it really shines some good light on direction and what we could look at and how we could kind of engage kids and see what would be most impactful for them, and maybe follow Comox's path and footsteps, and try to change those stats a little bit and make it a bit safer and more positive and healthy for youth.
Thank you, Counselor Pickard.
Thank you.
Counselor Raymar.
Yeah, you more or less just answered my question of what are other communities doing. Are there, I guess, other examples aside from Comox? Because I think we're probably going to steal that one, but
I got another one.
yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
Okay. And actually, I want to give credit to Mayor James Fernie and Mayor Pat Corbett-Labatt and Mayor Bob Wells for those three. So Courtney, Port Hardy, and Port McNeil. They all, I'm not sure to what degree Courtney and Port Hardy, but I know Port McNeil made the pool free. So the story is, and I know Mayor Fernie wouldn't have a problem because we went on CBC and told the story, is that there was like 1 or 2 families a week coming to the pool, and what do? We can't, like, we have this beautiful place and it's so expensive and we have to maintain it if people are here or not here. So if people aren't coming, we're still paying, so we might as well open it up for free. And this was during the pandemic or just after the pandemic. Well, all the kids now are coming to the pool because they would way rather be in the pool and be with their friends and learning to swim than not. And not only did they get all the kids to have this healthy, happy connection, but they ended up with all these lifeguards. And this is because people were taking the lessons. And then so when the pandemic was over, I don't know if you remember, but a lot of municipalities couldn't get their rec centers open because there was nobody to be lifeguards. Well, Port McNeil is more lifeguards than they know what to do with. So it's about access. It's about making opportunities. So I know, I love those examples from Hardy McNeil, from Port Hardy and Port McNeil. I know Courtney has done something similar, but I like Port McNeil's approach because a small community, and they just said, you don't have to prove anything, just come through the door. It's free. And I know that's not easy to do when there's lots of expenses and bills, but that was an example.
Councillor Pringle, do you have any questions? No? Lots of amazing information in there. I think the one slide that jumped out at me among most of the, it was the one on the improvements in the education system. I know that Gold River historically has had a reputation as not being a great place to educate your children. And my daughter's gone through the education system here, and my granddaughter's gone through the education system here, and I think it's a great environment for educating our children. But you know, there's that feeling out there or attitude out there that this is not a good education. This is not a good community to educate your children in. And I really appreciate seeing that slide, seeing the numbers that were there, and that kind of reaffirmed some of the thoughts that I had, and I think and rebuke some of the criticisms that we have of our education system and our community.
Yeah.
So it's really that was a really powerful slide for me personally.
Good. I'm glad that could encourage you.
Yeah.
'Cause
And the one that was the most alarming was seeing the access that our children are getting to these pernicious drugs that are harmful to them, and seeing the percentage of usage and wondering why we as a society allow that to happen. Because we should be able to put a stop to it. We know that it's really damaging our children. So
most
how come we can't stop that?
most access is from home. It starts at home.
So I guess we have to look inside instead of outside too. It's part of the solution, because when you see those numbers and you see how devastating they are to our children through their growth and development, that's something that I guess we have to take a good look at ourselves in the mirror. Okay. Did I stimulate some conversation there? Councillor Pringle?
Well, thank you for this report. It was I didn't really want to say anything because I'm very emotional. And it was very impactful for me because I work at the schools and I see the hard work that our teachers and our superintendent and everybody, to the janitors, to the noon hour supervisors, invest in their kids who they're not even related to, but they make sure that they have a safe place every day to go to. And I'm so proud of our district because they have taken over, feeding like breakfast and lunch. And we, oftentimes whatever is left, we try to make sure that the most vulnerable get food for the weekend and those kinds of things. It's emotional, but I think we do a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for bringing it into this report, because I think it really shows we're not just feeding minds of knowledge, we're also nourishing their bodies and making sure that before they're 5, they still, we have Strong Start, we have the Hub, all those things. We're invested in those kids till they graduate. And even afterwards, like I still have kids who I had in grade 7 come up to me, hi, Mrs. P, and give me a hug. And I don't recognize them anymore because they're all grown up, but it's just so nice that they still have those learnings and those teachings to keep them on the right track. So thank you for the report, and sorry for being emotional, but it did really hit me and it really impacted me. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Yeah.
I'm glad you spoke. That was moving. Any other? I've got a CAO who's so helpful. Makes me look good at times. Counselor Pickard.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. Can you guys see me? I just want to say thanks, Councillor Pringle, and it's so beautiful that you shared that too, and so great, as Mayor Lott said. And I having a bit of interaction with SDA before, not much with some homeschool stuff, but what you guys do for Backpack Buddies and sending kids home with meals and doing breakfast and lunch, it's unheard of for a school district, and it's so amazing what the kids have and what you guys provide and what you and the whole administration provides. And still also alarming and emotional to see that and to think as a parent that many kids in our constituents, in our jurisdiction, in our area are going to bed hungry and feel hungry with lack of food. And I know from some recent studies with Mowche-Mushlet First Nation that food security is a big issue. So, it feels emotional and kind of sad, and like we're here as a developed country and this many kids are hungry and our constituents are hungry and the kids are hungry, but it sheds some light. So thank you, Dr. Enns. Again, it gives us a lot of opportunity to look at where we can grow and where we can come together with the school district and MMFN and all our neighbors and partners, and just make sure we give our kids the best chance and full bellies. And also thanks, Ali, for all you guys, Councilor Prenger, for all you guys do at the school district to make sure everybody's there and has food and breakfast and lunches and Thanksgiving meals and Christmas meals. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pickard. Any other questions for our presenter before send her home, wherever home is?
I'm staying in your lovely Baymont tonight.
Oh, wonderful. Pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you. It's
And
been a pleasure to be
we
here.
are interested in taking you up on your kind invitation to come back and provide additional information to the community and to the council if you wish. And that gentleman right there handles most of the business for the village
We'll be
quite
talking.
confidently. And if you if you have something else that you want to provide or present to the council that you think would be enriching, we'd love to have you back again. So again, thank you for coming out.
Thank you. You're just an absolute
Right.
lovely council. I'll come back anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, our goal is to make you feel welcome here, so you come back. Hopefully you achieved that. Now I have I believe, I have the privilege of welcoming our new president down at our Golf and Country Club. And I think that he's got a presentation for us. So, yeah. So Doug Meske, I think most of the people in the community probably know Doug. He's been a longstanding citizen in our community, very dedicated in our community, involved as one of our titans of industry. And if I didn't see Doug with his logging stuff on, he had hockey stuff on, and he was teaching kids to play hockey, or he was helping kids learn how to golf. So, also a great contributor to help develop our children, our community. But thank you for coming out, Mr. Meske, and we'd love to hear your presentation on how things are going down at the municipal golf course.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a very tough presentation to follow. Maybe next time you can put it first.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Oh my God, we should have made you go first.
But anyways, I'll do my best. Okay, so good evening, Mayor Lott and councillors. As the mayor said, I'm Doug Meske. I'm the president of Gold River Golf and Country Club. I was asked by the mayor to come by and just provide a brief update on our operations to date in 2026. So our current executive includes Robert Larson, who's the vice president, Linda Vandenberg, who is our treasurer and here to keep me under control tonight. Elaine Jesdal is our secretary, and we have 3 directors, Mickey Mann, Brian Conrad, and Mark Toohey.
Great group.
I'll just start off by saying it's been and continues to be a learning experience for several of us as new members, as the executives. We learn something new every day down there, good or bad. So, but we started out, we focused on trying to understand the financial situation of the golf course. We created an annual operating plan. And we also created a 5-year operating plan focusing on capital asset improvement and upgrades. We currently employ 3 full-time maintenance staff, our groundskeepers. We have 9 clubhouse staff this year right now, a mix of full and part-time. We also operate with the help from Western Forest Products, the Village of Gold River, and the help of numerous volunteers, including another 4, I call them full-time maintenance staff volunteers, and which service all of our equipment, run our irrigation systems, and general upkeep around the club. And we have many other volunteers, too numerous to list them all. And it includes local companies, our executive members, all helping with course upgrades and clubhouse maintenance on an as-needed basis. Cannot thank these individuals and companies enough. We wouldn't be able to survive financially without their help. So what have we done so far this year? In terms of some capital improvements down at the club, we purchased and installed a new variable frequency drive for our irrigation system. I'm no expert on a variable frequency drive, maybe Joe is, but it is a system to help maintain the water, the pressure, the timing through that whole irrigation system. Our last one was 30 years old, so it was time for a new one. Am I close? Okay, good enough. Okay. We've also purchased 4 new to us golf cart replacements this year. As older ones fall apart, we're trying to keep that inventory up as people want to use them.
Great.
An unbudgeted thing happened the other day. We purchased and installed a new commercial dishwasher as well, as the other one didn't make it. So, can't plan for everything, right? As you guys all know.
Contingency.
Exactly. Some other significant maintenance items, just of note, we did do some significant clubhouse roof maintenance and repairs. Again, we're in that 28 to 30 year range since that clubhouse was built. So it's probably expected. We did rebuild the clubhouse patio railing outside. If you're out there having a meal, that's been upgraded. We also did an upgrade on the back entrance, including a covered porch and a new garden area out back, just to clean things up a bit. We're concentrating a lot on the trail maintenance out on the golf course, and we're doing a lot of upgrades there as well currently. So as a group, as an executive, we have a vision to grow the business at a sustainable rate, to provide an enjoyable golf experience for locals and visitors alike. We know we have work to do, but we've also come to understand we can't do it all right now or in 1 year. So we're going to have to just do it systematically. Our membership has grown to 114 so far in 2026.
That's a record.
Yeah, it's up from 110 last year. And again, there's still a chance we'll get a few more. It's small, but it's going in the right direction, right? So this is the part I don't know how detailed I want to get or how detailed you want me to get. Is just not much left here. But we, at this point in time, we budgeted a net income, and I guess I don't have a problem telling you guys these numbers. And they're approximate at this point in time, but we budgeted a net income of approximately $50,000 annually for the next 5 years. But we also projected an average capital spend of $40,000 to $50,000 annually for that same period of time. So the net profit You guys can do the math. It's not huge.
Mhm.
Our next priorities are to upgrade our maintenance equipment. We have utility vehicles to purchase to get crewed around the golf course. We have mowers to buy. We have green mowers. We have fairway mowers. And these are specialized. I'm learning a lot about golf courses, golf course equipment, and they're not cheap. So there are a lot of dollars going in there. So as an example, a fairway mower can cost anywhere from a used one that you would want to buy around $50,000 to a new one of about $110,000. So just to put it in perspective, right? We also have additional clubhouse improvements that we want to do to fit into in our budgeting, and we just want to keep the appearance up, right? And we will have to continue to replace power carts as required. As some fall out, we'll have to. So, those are basically $5,000 a pop. So we will also continue to look for opportunities to lower our operating costs, but we need to see some quick returns on these types of investments. So that we can afford some of the bigger stuff, right? So we want to lower our operating costs, but it has to be quick. And we're seeing some of those things happen right now. So it's great with the team looking at some of these opportunities. So we do have some savings. So that's stuff we have, and it really is a contingency, right? The same thing that you guys deal with. We have some contingencies funds there, and hopefully, well, we'll see what happens with that, right? I don't have the answer for that one yet. Some of the challenges we're facing right now are labor, finding people that want to work. And I think that's common in many areas. So it's not new to us or only to us. And labor rates. Cost of living is going up, which results in people wanting to make more money, which is fair enough. So those are some of the challenges we have. As you may or may not know, we run the clubhouse, kitchen, and bar for about 6 months. And for the remaining 6 months, we run an honor system pay for Green Fears with the clubhouse closed. So we are asking ourselves, can we stay open longer? What does it mean? How do we do it? And it's not only an income versus expense question. It also depends on Mother Nature. But we are trying to bring in some new ideas to expand and be a little bit more profitable down there and have a longer operating season.
Terrific.
So that's all I have. I'm sorry.
We may have some questions for you if you're open to questions.
Hey, I'm open to questions.
Usually stimulates lots of different thoughts. Anyone have any questions for our president? I'll get it rolling. One of the things that I love about the golf course is that it's a community golf course. I was talking to a person today who's a work colleague of mine. She doesn't golf. She went down, had lunch with me today, and she was interested in sports. She kind of plays around with it, and she felt that, it wasn't appropriate for her to be on the golf course. And it was kind of interesting. The ladies were down there golfing, and they knew her, and they came and surrounded her and made her feel really welcome and invited her to come on golf and said that this is a municipal golf course. This is a golf course that's accessible to every person in Gold River. We want every person in Gold River to feel welcome here and feel that they have a place here and that they can come and participate whatever level you're at. And that was really kind of a real cool personal story for me to see that our municipal golf course is very inclusive, and and you guys make a great effort to make everybody feel welcome regardless of their skill and ability level. And I really appreciate that as part of the culture of a municipal golf course, because I've gone to some other golf courses and the culture isn't that great. So I really do appreciate the efforts that you folks make to to make all our citizens feel welcome down there, because it's supposed to be a community asset, something that belongs to all of us, and everybody should feel that they belong there and they have a place there. And I think you guys do a really good job of making folks feel welcome. And the other thing that I'd like to focus on, because often it's, we overlook it, but it's so critical to the operation of a municipal golf course and a community golf course in a small resource community like ours that is economically challenged, is that there is a army of men and women who are a silent army down there, and the community may not know about them, but the only reason the golf course, in my mind, is able to be viable is that the folks that use that facility, and even folks that don't use it, that just appreciate having it in our community, step up and volunteer endless hours of their time, or other people or other organizations or companies donate in kind. And they all contribute to making that a successful operation down there. And I recognize that if we added up their labor costs, I wouldn't want to do that, because that 50,000 you talked about, and 50,000, that's not a realistic number. The reason I think that you have a number like that is because we don't factor in what the value of the volunteer contribution is.
Absolutely.
And, you talked about some improvements, and we think, okay, what contractor, did that wonderful job on the deck down there and replacing all the old worn out railings and glass. And the contractor that did it was, I think it was a volunteer group, Mesky and Company, I think it was. So, and then I was down there the other day, and there was a landscaping group down there, and they were down there, and I think it was Linda Incorporated and her group that was down there that was doing that. And I can go through on and on and on, but I know that the reason that we are so fortunate and so blessed to have a amenity like that in our community is the people stepped up and they continue to contribute. And I wore my 30-year shirt today just to commemorate that. I think it was 1992, it says that it came. And yeah, 30 years, 2022. I think one of our counselors made the logo there just to kind of show that it is a community effort, right? And I'm, out of all the golf courses that I've golfed, the golf course that I've enjoyed the most and felt the best at is our golf course. Talked to a colleague of mine who a workmate of mine, he golfs all over the island. Place he loves to golf the most is right here. He said this, it's the culture of that golf course, the people of the golf course, the diversity of that golf course, how it's well maintained by, the people in it. I think that's kind of what makes it special to me, President. So yeah, I'd just like to recognize those folks all the time when you guys come up here, because like I said, it's a silent army down there, but I see them all the time, and I appreciate all their contributions that they make to that facility, because without that, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the golf course like I enjoy it. So thank you. And thank you to all your volunteers and everybody else that's working down there. And since I don't know everybody, I won't try and name names because I'll miss people and they'll be upset, but you guys know who you are.
Well, thank you for recognizing that, because it is important. And when you go back to 92, you talk about volunteers and community support just to bring it here was huge. So it has continued, and it is eye-opening for me too, stepping into this role. You see it when you're just playing, but when you're part of it, it's incredible how much people will contribute and volunteer their time to keep that place running. So
Yeah,
thank you,
it's
and I will
lovely.
pass that on.
There's a real sense of civic ownership there and pride.
Yeah.
They're just indisputable. I finally seen you, Councillor Pickard, without being audible to. Go ahead.
Thank you, through the chair. It's okay. I just put my hand up, so. I know.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. And yeah, thanks through the chair, and thanks, Mr. Mesky, for coming to present to us. I was hoping, since you took presidency, that you would come and present and introduce yourself and give us some details on the golf course this year. So thank you so much for taking the time to come in, and apologies I can't be there in person. And I just want to echo Mayor Lott's sentiments that you know, anybody from Gold River, anybody who's been there knows that it's the executive that really puts in so much volunteer time. And as you're finding out, it's probably more than what you thought. Cutting into your golf game. So thanks for all you're doing down there. And I come down to golf sometimes with my kids and come down to the river, but always see you guys working out back, and you and Linda and the rest of the executive. So thank you guys for all the effort. And I know we had our last president was involved with council, so hope you feel free to come in and connect with us or reach out if there's anything that's challenging. Our council knows how big the golf course is for, we just had a health presentation for mental health, for physical health, for social benefits for all age ranges of our residents. And we know how big the golf course is for just Gold River. It's an absolute gem. And I can attest to that from my daughters are in junior academy at Story Creek throughout the summer. And when I'm there and I hear on the patio people talking about coming to Gold River, and they're in tournaments in Gold River and they're so excited, and it really is legendary. So you're doing a great job carrying on and beginning your presidency and keeping the team together, and the course is in great shape and everybody speaks so highly of it, and just what an absolute incredible experience it is, and great golfing, great people, great environment. So just one, I had a couple kind of questions. Is no, we've been talking a lot as a council about recent snowpack reports and drought conditions coming up, and wondering if you guys had any insight if how the golf course is going to be, if you guys would be okay for irrigation, and what would the impacts be if river levels were low, and then a little bit about the youth stuff too, as we had a few years ago before you took over, but our last presenter just spoke about youth engagement and youth programs, and I know it takes champions and people to volunteer, but the youth program was really, really well received a few years ago. One of the dads stepped up and did a youth program. So I know you're taking a lot on in your first year and some capital upgrades, and it's great to see new things happening there and you guys spending some of your net income, but keep it on your radar, because I know it's one of the only places that youth can really have access to golf and the sport and to be out on the course and learn it. So I know it's really well received, and if there's any space or volunteers or thoughts you have about incorporating some youth programs, that would be awesome.
Sure, okay. From the climate perspective, from the snowpack perspective, all I can say right now is things appear to be looking okay for this year. What will happen if the river runs dry, we will be irrigating less. And it may end up that you can only irrigate the greens, which would be a shame, but that could be a reality at some point in time. So I don't see that right now, but you never know with that. So in terms of youth programs, I think it's something we can take away. Yeah, we have to continue to build not only the whole membership, but we really do have to spend some time on the younger population of that membership, because they're going to continue to be there and support us, right? So yeah, we'll take a closer look at that. I have nothing to report on that, I'm sorry, but thank you for the reminder, and we will do some work on that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mr. Waymer.
Thank you. Thank you through the chair. I know there's so much to learn in the first year and lots to take on. So thanks for all you're doing, and all you and the entire executive and all the volunteers that I know work tirelessly all summer, but also throughout the winter too, to make that course what it is and bring all the benefits it does to Gold River and all our residents. So thank you. And yeah, that's great. The climate stuff is okay for now. I'll cross our fingers it stays good for all of us in Gold River for the whole season, and keep on your radar. Yeah, the youth love it. So we'll just see where that grows as we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pickard. Councillor Waymer.
Thank you, Mr. Meske and Ms. Vandenberg, for volunteering. I'm sure it's a big ol' head for you, but we appreciate it for sure. My condolences for the dishwasher. Yeah, it's a big draw to our community, I guess. And we had the mixed doubles 2 weeks ago now. I was hoping you could speak to, some of those events that are, and, what sort of draw is coming from outside of our community.
Well, yeah, the mixed double is the mixed doubles. We have the men's amateur, and we have the Jewel, which is the ladies tournament in September. The mixed and the men's are full 88 participants, so 2 flights of 44. The Jewel, we don't have a final number on yet. Yeah. But it's growing again after the pandemic, the Jewel, and really they all are, right? The mix didn't even happen, I don't think, before the pandemic.
That's right.
So we had a wonderful turnout, and from all accounts, from the people who golfed in it, I didn't. But it turned out very well, and it was very successful. So yes, we expect the same from the men's. Usually does turn out. And the Jewel was always, if it's only one flight, it's one flight, but it brings in a lot of people, and again, what Mayor Lott said, they just enjoy being here, right? So, but they're big revenue streams for the golf course, those 3 primary tournaments.
Thank you.
Councillor Pringle, you've learned something about golf this evening?
Yes, I have. Still just like to watch it. I just had a comment, Mayor. I was just wondering, we have a user agreement with the schools about using the pool and the arena. I'm wondering if maybe at sometime in September, the golf course and us could meet, I don't know, and come up with something for that with the school, because I think, they have PE. Why can't one of their PE be a drop-in or go down to the golf course and do that? It's something different. I think a lot of kids would be really interested in that from the high school, and not so sure about the elementary school yet, because they're a little orangutangy. But maybe 6s and 7s would even be interested.
I think
So it's just
I think
like
it's
meant.
an interesting idea. What do you think, President?
Again, I think it's interesting, and I think it's possible. We would just have to look at numbers. We do not have a huge supply of rental clubs, but we have some. So if we can make it work, we will make it work, right?
And that's something I think we'd leave with you folks. If you see an opportunity there, there's certainly, sounds like there's an invitation there. I don't see the village getting involved with that, but yeah, if you see an opportunity there, it's like anything else. The survival of the golf course is going to be contingent on the pipeline that you develop to feed it, right? Because the old guys aren't going to be around forever. You have to have that pipeline bringing on new talent. And you guys know that. I look at your membership, and one of the things that was really encouraging as I looked at the average age of the members, it's a lot of young people that
Right.
pumped your numbers up. It's not a bunch of old guys like us that, got nothing better to do with their lives but hit little balls in a hole. But yeah, it's a bunch of young people that have taken on this sport or the activity. They love it. So, and when I looked at it, I thought, that's it. That's how you rejuvenate and maintain that course. You've got to have that vitality by having a pipeline of new younger people participating. And I'm seeing that. So that's awesome. That's really encouraging to me. Councillor Pickard, that's twice I've seen your hand up. Are you waving at me, or do you actually want to answer the question?
I have just one more kind of comment, but, and also waving always. But that's a really good point, that the numbers are growing. And Mr. Meskey, I remember I worked there in the past. It was my first job after my 3 daughters, and I started to work at the golf course. And I remember our old manager there, Kim, who's still there, was so excited to get close to 100, and now to see that we've surpassed 100 with potential population declines that our medical officer just gave us a presentation on. It's really good news that the golf is really growing and growing within different demographics. So good job to all you guys for making that happen. And I second Councillor Pringle's idea that incorporating it into, we have a really awesome Nooka outdoor education program at the high school, and some youth looking for activities. So if there's any way to incorporate that with youth would be awesome. And really great that you brought up the men's am, or the mixed tournament that just happened, sold out, men's am sold out, and then the Jewel, that everybody's reviews are fantastic. I know the ladies have a great time, and they're huge revenue generators for the golf course, but also big boosts for the village as a whole in terms of visitors and visitation and overnight stays and just spending in different areas of the village. So thank you guys for all you do to organize those events. And on a personal note, I usually golf 118 a year, which is the Legion tournament. So I'm wondering if that's happening this year, so I can look forward to that. So wondering if you guys have that partnership and tournament locked in with the Legion in August.
yes, that is locked into. I didn't put it in the major three, but the Legion
Okay.
one is there too. It's more of a fun.
It's a fun one. Yeah, perfect. Great. I'll look forward to that. Thank you, guys.
Any parting questions that we have for the president? Any parting comments, Mr. Muskie?
No, I think I'm done.
I really appreciate you and, yeah, Ms. Vandenberg coming in and doing the presentation to the council tonight and to the community. It's really encouraging to, hear what you guys are doing down there. And again, the only reason we have a municipal golf course is not because the Village of Gold River is running, it's because we have a good lease arrangement with a great organization that's taken an ownership of that place, and they turned it into something special since 1992.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. And you're always welcome to come back here and update us whenever you feel it's appropriate.
Okay, well, thank you
Thank
very
you, sir.
much for having us, and we'll see you next time.
Sure.
And we'll work on that youth program thing.
Yeah, I'd love to
forget.
hear that.
Okay.
That's the future.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Good evening. Bye now.
Right, we understand.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way when we changed our, amended our, yeah. So 6.1 delegation of authority bylaw number 764, 2026. Just a bit of a background. We had this on the agenda on our last meeting. It was, at that point, we received it for information, and there was a subsequent motion to table it to this meeting. And I did a little bit of research because I was wondering, well, do we have to do anything special to bring it back? And it, the motion to take it from the table again and bring it before council. And apparently, according to the Roberts Rules of Order, we don't have to do that if we designate a date that we're bringing it back. So we have brought it back. And where we are at right now is we've done the receiving of it. And then the next part of it would be the motion for adoption. So in order to get some discussion going on this item tonight, I'll put the motion up, and you guys can move in second and we'll have a discussion. And it's that the delegation authority bylaw 764, 2026 be read for the first 3 times by title only. Who would care to move it? Councilor Pringle, second by Councilor Waymire. And discussion. I know that we had a healthy discussion last time, and we've had 21 days to kind of reflect on it. And I'm just wondering what people's thoughts are on it tonight. I've had a chance to, I really appreciated having the 21 days to be able to actually to reflect on this and to do some research and to do some investigation and do some consultation with different groups. And I found it very enlightening. So I'm looking forward to hearing the discussion tonight. Anybody care to go forward? Councilor Waymire.
Yeah, I'll get us started. So yeah, having the 3 weeks is wonderful. My thoughts on it have not particularly changed. I've gone and read through it quite a number of times, area by area, and I'm not seeing anything in here that is I gotcha or something like that. What this is to me is a document that really just sets the boundaries, the guidelines for who does what, delegating, what our authority is, and to our CAO as well as a, one CAO, one employee model. Yeah, looking through the points, I'm not seeing anything in here that doesn't come more or less directly from the community charter or from our own bylaws that we already have in place, in particular our purchasing bylaw. This seems like the sort of document that Jerry Berry would have wanted us to have when he came to visit, and talk to us about roles. I think this document very clearly defines roles. Point 1, point 2, 3. I'm looking at where council is in this document, and we're not really giving anything up as far as governance goes, and nothing in the CAO rules demonstrates that he has any additional powers that he doesn't already do day to day. I think it's a great document for transparency. This is going to be, I mean, for the new council coming in, this could be right on the front page. It would have been wonderful for us to have that. I think it's also, you know, great for transparency of the community. When we have a document like this, we're not saying, hey, you know, according to the community charter, look here, this person can do this, everything's fine. We can just point to this document and it would, you know, ideally clear up some confusion that may arise. And I guess finally, efficiency of this document is very much designed to have us, you know, delegate the authorities so that operations can run more efficiently. I mean, nothing in here are the things I feel upset about, you know, giving up as far as, you know, day-to-day operations go. You know, as far as like, say, signing authority, like I don't want to be, you know, having to sign onto a business license. And even if a business license were rejected, you know, that individual still can come back to council in the case where a delegation, a power that we have delegated, they disagree with, they could bring it to council, and that's written right into the document too. So I don't see a danger. I don't see a I gotcha. I think this only good can happen, no bad can happen.
Thank you, Councillor Waymire. Councillor Pringle.
Thank you to the chair. I'd like to agree. Thank you, Councillor Waymire. That's exactly my position. I was glad we had the 21 days so we could look it over, but I still feel like I did at the last meeting, is that it's a good document. And for the next council that comes in, I think it's going to be very helpful. So I don't have any problems with it.
Councillor Pringle. Any other councillors care to weigh in? I'll be the dissenting voice because that's why we have people around here. We want to have all the perspectives, right? And I think one of the things I love about this council is we can respectfully agree to disagree. And I think that's one of our strengths. I've seen a lot of dysfunctional councils over the 4 years since I've been here because I get out a lot and I'm interested in that sort of thing. And there's a lot of councils that and a lot of administrations that have a real struggle with the whole concept of good governance. Excuse me. So why I asked myself over the 21 days as, you know, I was reflecting on this and I was doing my research, why I was struggling with it. And the reason that it's a challenge for me is because I think one of the roles of the mayor and the council is to provide the best governance model within the community. And that's part of our job and responsibility. And I know early in our term, we had some reservations some concerns about the governance model that was in place. And we inherited what was called the single employee kind of model of governance, and that we only had one employee. And there were some concerns about that. And I know that, you know, it's not really reflected in any legislation in terms of what I can see in terms of Local Government Act or in terms of the community charter. There's some references there that we can go over that I pulled out that was part of that discussion. But the concern, I think, at the time that I was hearing from the public and from council, and that manifested itself early in our term, was that there was a concern that if we had the one employee model where there is a strict division of duties and responsibilities and authority, and that there was a one, like operations was operations, and we didn't involve ourselves in operations, and we were policy and kind of, and we were looking at things like bylaws and all the budgets and all the other things we're looking at. But the concern that I had was that we didn't seem to have a role as a council in providing oversight, accountability, checks and balances of our administration, of our staff. Because, you know, my conversations, I have a lot of great conversations with my CAO. We agree to disagree in a lot of cases, and you know, philosophically, we're not completely aligned, but you know, we work it out for the betterment of the community. Because I think that one of the failures of that model that I'm really concerned about, and that I don't think has been resolved yet, and that we were working through it by not accepting our code of conduct. We had a responsibility there within the first 6 months of our term to accept that, and we chose to reject it because it had elements in there that we weren't comfortable with. One of them being the council and CEO relationship, and it's embedded in that document there. We can go over if you like tonight. I can read it out for you. But we chose to reject that. We said we're going to make our own code of conduct, and we're going to address the issues in that governance model because we have some concerns there. We said that we thought that our CO may be in a conflict of interest when we went through that process. So we specifically budgeted for and requested that we have a contractor come in to work with council on that. It was Jerry Berry Consultants. Great, wonderful man. Went through everything with us. We didn't complete the job. We were still in that process. There's still a lot of the things that we need to work through and unresolved to get to a point where I think we have a better governance model. I don't know what it looks like exactly or what it's called, but it's one where this council maintains oversight and is responsible for the accountability. And right now I don't see that, and I don't know how that works, because if you have a model where citizens are bringing concerns to our attention as their elected officials, and they're saying, hey, I have a concern with this, it falls within the realm of operations. We bring it to the CAO, and the CAO or the staff says, we have the one employee model. Council shouldn't be asking questions about this or seeking answers or doing investigations. This is our responsibility. You guys don't have oversight or authority here. First thing that comes to my mind is saying, well, where is the accountability? Like, where is that accountability? And that hadn't been answered for me as we've gone through the process. I went through this document and I reflect a lot of Councillor Waymar's thoughts. I think it's a document that's well put together. It's well composed. It meets a lot of the objectives that we have. And I don't have a problem with that codification concept. The concept that I have when we talked, with CEO last time, our last meeting, was that historical model that we had for governments with a single employee, that's embedded in this document. So even though that we have rejected a previous document, Code of Conduct, because it had that one employee model, we wanted to research it, and we hired a contractor and we worked with them, and we continue to work with them. I don't believe that the job is done yet. We're being asked now, as a part of this full package, to adopt that and endorse it. I'm not prepared to do that. I'm prepared to accept this document for what it is, that codification of already existing legislation. I'm not prepared at this point, under the terms of good governance, to accept something that is undone. It's not finished. We haven't done our work with our contractor, with our consultant, to make sure that we're comfortable with what model we have. Because right now, the public isn't comfortable with that model. I tell you, when I talk to the public about this, they give me an earful. So anyways, those are some of my thoughts. I'm not opposed to this. I'll just get to you in a second. I just want to, that I understand, and I hear what you're saying, and I hear a lot of that. But I don't want to deal with this as part of delegation of authority bylaw. If we want to deal with this, I want to make sure that we deal with the good governance component and have time to deal with it. And I don't think we've done that yet. And I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by just accepting it within a big package like this without actually addressing that concern that I know the public has, I know the council had, and I know that lots of other people have. And we shouldn't have it. We should have a good governance model here that works for the public. It works for the council. It works for the staff. It works for our employees. That's what I want at the end of the day, because I appreciate all their work. But right now I'm getting challenged with that. And I'm not satisfied that that's the best governance model. It could be with some modifications and understanding where we had some form of understanding of how that oversight works or the accountability works. But we don't. I've been told many times when I brought issues, that's an operational issue. It's outside of your bounds. You're outside of your lanes. Get in your lane. And that's not acceptable to me because I don't believe that's what the community charter was written to present and to have as good governments. I'm not convinced of that, nor local administration. So I won't be supporting this. So we have, and I'm hoping it gets defeated and that we put it back onto the drawing board, because I think we can do a much better job for our bosses, much better job for our councils, us and the next council, our staff and our employees, if we gut this out and do the work that we should be doing instead of shortcutting it and then bringing it in and kind of like an omnibus bill here with a whole pile of other stuff. That's my sentiment. That's what my bosses are telling me. I've talked to hundreds of them over the 20 days. I talked to colleagues at SRD who are mayors, councillors. Job's not done, you guys. This thing's half cooked. I don't think that should be going forward. So I won't be supporting it. Any other Councillor Pringle? Okay. Anyone else want to? Councillor Pringle. Oh, I got carried away. Sorry, my apologies.
That's okay. Councillor Pringle, go ahead if you have something to say. You good?
Well, you go first and then I'll because I've already spoken, so I'll go after everybody else speaks.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you to the chair. And thanks everyone for your thoughts on this. And I appreciate all staff's effort to put this all together and really spell it all out and do all the definitions and the different points with the bylaw to delegate certain powers, duties, and functions. And I know everyone's thought a lot about it, and we thought a lot before the last agenda. And these last 21 days, we have a lot of time to kind of chew and digest and process it, and also communicate with our fellow municipal elected officials and our constituents who are our bosses, that we always say they're our bosses. And I agree that without really understanding this and without really kind of understanding why we have to implement this now at the very end of the 4 terms, without any of us kind of asking for it or asking for the report or asking for a change or something not working, and looking back to the beginning when we didn't really take on the code of conduct because of the one employee model, everyone was a bit uncomfortable with that. I also agree that I would like to accept it for information, but I'm not gonna vote to do the first 3 readings. I think we have a chance right now to look at our governance models, to look at what's the best for our residents, what's the most transparent. I think delegating certain powers, duties, and functions to kind of CAO and staff is not what residents want. And I think we have a chance to look at what's the best for our employees. And I think there's some leadership positions that are open, and some work that we can do internally, and some work we can do with our advisor, Jerry Berry, who's amazing and gave us lots of good advice, and to do annual reviews and stuff. And we're not really doing it. So I don't really think to just passing this bylaw without being fully kind of aware of the repercussions and understanding it and being fully caught up on what we want as a governance model, we want for leadership for our staff. And I think we can appreciate all the work that went into it and maybe it can be refined, but I agree that accepting it for information is a good course of action at this point. And that's where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pickard. Councillor Fawson.
Thank you through the chair. And I just wonder if I need to make a motion because I'd like to have us freely speak openly and honestly. And I would like to make a motion that we move in camera as we are dealing with administration and management. And I think we as council need a little more ability to speak candidly in camera. So if it's okay, I'd like to propose that we move in camera.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Pringle. All in favor of council going into camera to discuss personnel issues? Carried. We're in camera. Folks, you'll have to excuse us because we're now in camera. When we come back out of camera, you're welcome.
Councillor
join-
Pickard,
you're
you'll have to
welcome join
reconnect.
the meeting if you like.